TGIF. Stick 'em up. I know where your stops are. I'm Forex Stop Hunter. No, guys, it's me.
Somebody, somebody's in the mood today, right?
Huh?
Somebody's in the
Anyway,
mood today. Halloween.
anyway, look, I was right about everything. I'm not going to brag. Okay. One thing did surprise me: the cable strength yesterday, and you were right, Steve. You were right about that zone and euro pound. What a debacle in 2 days! I mean, he gave it all back.
Yeah, and
Nice.
it's quite clear that I even posted an intraday update when we were consolidating where you saw there.
Look at
When
this.
we were actually
In here.
testing the ascending channel. You haven't drawn it there, but in essence, yeah, that recovery was in an ascending channel. So yesterday at some point, we were testing that channel. So I posted an intraday update saying that, listen, this is the place, and according to what we've seen so far today, it's
How can anyone not succeed hanging out with all the talent in the chat room and the team? I don't know. I don't know how they can't. It must be some type of psychology.
it is very easy as long as you're not disciplined. It is
That's
very easy.
That's how.
It is very easy
That's how.
not to succeed, right?
Oh yeah, I know. I had decades. So anyway,
just to give you an idea, I remember some cases, and these people, you immediately know that there is nobody that can help them. I remember some cases of clients, because we've asked people that are doing the customer support. We've asked them to to give us an update on occasion, or to forward stuff, and on occasion during a weekend I might go back and check on tickets from leads or clients or whatever. So I remember specifically, but unfortunately this is what I'm going to tell you is not the exception. It's something that we've seen quite frequently. I remember a guy, I think he was, it doesn't really matter, it was from an eastern country, it doesn't really matter to name the country. So I remember a guy that had joined ForexAnalytix, and we had like 3-4 losing patterns in play in a row after a period of time that we had like amazing performance. And that person obviously didn't want to learn how to trade. He just hoped that he's going to make money by copying patterns in play. So after 3 unsuccessful patterns in play that were totally down, like the 3 of them like 1.5%, which is nothing of a drawdown, right? So he was swearing and like, you're useless and you can't do anything. And you're trying to imagine what kind of person thinks that they can make money without having a 1.5% drawdown, and in advance that these are the people that are going to lose their money in the markets. End of story.
And they over leverage. And you know what? I tell everyone, I don't care what it is, but you really can't make a valid assessment of the quality of say a money manager or a signal service or research that you pay for. You have to give it at least 90 days. Anything less than that, you're not getting the full picture, because everyone goes through a period, and you have, some people just look at, you're wrong a trade or two in the first week, and they're off looking for the holy grail that doesn't exist. And it's, again, not having patience and having unrealistic expectations. And more than that, being lazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Totally.
So I think the biggest enemy for people that want to, be traders is that they don't work hard enough at it. And they don't spend enough time in the learning curve with screen time. And they just want money to drop into their account. And I don't know what planet they're on. Yeah, I don't know what planet they're on. Anyway, it was I think a pretty dynamic week. We have a breakdown in gold after that CPI. Steve, you and I were talking about it when it was
Yeah, coach, listen,
starting to have trouble.
the move lower in gold, theoretically speaking, from a fundamental perspective,
Rates.
is to be, no, it's not rates. It's
Yeah,
real
it is.
rates, real rates.
Okay,
Real rates.
okay, real rates.
Because don't forget what we got the last couple of days is the following. We got weaker inflation data. So theoretically speaking, I'm not going to go over the conversation of the CPI again, although if we continued to have as low volatility as we had earlier on the week, I would devote half an hour as we did the other day speaking about monetary policy, the Fed, etc. I would do that for the CPI because I
more
want
than
to
that, you have breakouts in the 10 and 30 year.
Yes, we have nominal rates moving higher, and concurrently we had some weaker inflation data. What does that mean? It means that the market currently sees a move higher in real rates. And yes, gold and silver are correlated over time with real rates.
Yeah.
And the reason is the very basic opportunity cost.
Yeah.
Since gold and silver don't have a dividend, they don't pay any kind of a rent, they don't have a coupon. When
that's lovely over a cocktail or a cup of coffee. The key was yesterday we talked about it after the number came out that we were getting a failure, and we broke back to the throwover line, and today we're back underneath the throwover line. So
yes, which tells me that this is a more complex correction, and the reason
1430 in your
reason I still say correction is
I say correction.
The price action you see so far, does it look impulsive to you?
No.
Exactly. So the problem I've mentioned that 100 times here. The problem with corrective moves is that they can become a lot more complex than you initially expect. So it looked like we might have found the bottom, but if you remember, I was very conservative with that. What was I saying that I needed to see in order to be, to have high conviction that we have actually found a low? I wanted both gold and silver to break out above the corrective descending channels. None of them did that. Both of them found resistance at the trend line resistance of the channel. So I think we're still in an unfolding correction. And yes, there is a decent likelihood now that we failed again, that we might even see lower prices, in which case I think that gold can, even pull back towards
there you go, 1430.
1420, 1430, 1440, all of them are.
It'd be that magic blue speed line right there.
Yeah, I mean, I see other levels as well, other reasons as well.
No, that's it. That's the only line that'll work.
Okay, if you say so.
All right, man. Everyone draw this line, okay?
I have no reason to.
All right. Anyway, rates up, risk on. Where are you at with the S&P's taking out 2960? I
don't have a position anymore. The rest of my half short got stopped at breakout.
Okay.
At breakout, oh my God,
break even.
Too tired. Break even, yeah. I mean, I'm too tired after this week. Yeah, got stopped out on the rest, 50% at break even. So that's it. I took profits on half of it, and the other half, nothing.
So yesterday we were talking about the wick and that we needed to close in euro above the wedge line, and we didn't get it. We got it today.
So far, we're getting it today, but obviously,
it's the end of the week.
Obviously, the elephant in the room is what we've seen happening to cable, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about a massive move. It was inevitable. Yeah. It was inevitable.
I didn't see it.
At some point, it will happen.
Because and the Dixie's on the verge of breaking down.
It has broken down from the first.
Oh, it has now. Okay.
Now, from the first area of support.
Okay,
it's not yet in a downtrend, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But it has. And let me.
Why don't you grab the screen?
I'm doing so as we speak, and
because I already told our community I was right about everything today. Why don't you turn your camera on? Let's have a real conversation.
You want me to turn my camera on?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Let's. Everyone has to use their camera today. It's camera day. What do you
okay.
think, Face?
I
There you
I
go.
have
Look at Steve.
Tom and Jerry.
Look,
Look
he's like a 9-year-old.
at.
What do you think? Him and Jason watch cartoons together. Anyway, all right. So go ahead, take it away, bro.
So
Joe is a very mean guy.
yeah, I know. He's a
He
real
put it
bastard.
in chat. You know, he could put it privately. Joe, come
I
on.
hate that guy, Joe. He's very annoying. I'm kidding.
Yeah. Anyway, he's just jealous because once he met you in New York in person, he couldn't let you go back to Stelios. So
I know.
Anyway,
But I
get
told
over
him
it, Joe.
I'm a very devoted guy. I'm with the same woman for 15 years and with the same man for how many years is it, Stelios? I'm kidding.
Turn your camera on, Stel. It's camera
Hey,
day.
I'm not doing that.
You have to. You're fired.
I
Steve, fire
can't.
Stel.
I'm on my phone. I can't do it actually.
Oh, okay, Stel. All right,
You
anonymous man.
always have
So,
a cheap excuse.
did we? Sorry, I missed the first 5 minutes. Did you talk about the UK and what's been happening?
No, we didn't.
No. We were both just bragging about what great market analysts we were.
Yeah,
It was like a real ego-filled first 10 minutes.
we were just saying that we're the best. If only you weren't part of the team, it would be a perfect team.
Of course, everybody knows that.
Although he has the highest hit rate.
Oh, he does,
Yeah,
and you know something that is the beauty.
fact.
Many people
That's
don't
a
understand it. That is the beauty with trading less and longer term. Because the less the signals you decide to act upon, the higher, as long as you know what you're doing, the higher the hit rate. I've seen that again and again. I mean, take any trader
Nostracantos.
Yeah, that has a specific win ratio, and ask them to do double the trades. Do you think that they're going to do double the trades and have the same hit ratio? No chance in a million.
I hope so, Forex Gal. I think Julia's going to come back and try it. So I hope she comes. Okay.
Okay, Stelio.
Hey, Andre's in here now. Andre, put your camera on.
Stelio, before we go in the DXY, which I was about to show, and why it has already broken below the first area, we had a huge. I'm going to start from a technical perspective. We're talking about a huge squeeze, the biggest 2-day rally we've had in many years, and look where it stopped. It stopped. We kept showing this at these descending wedges, trendline resistance, and you know something. This is the moment of truth from a technical perspective. Now, why don't you go ahead and tell us all the positive news we've got that have actually driven, with the help of course the market being overly short positioned, this rally?
Well, no, we had no data, so you can continue. No, I'm kidding. So we had two things.
I have no idea. My friends told me that it's good.
Two things that have happened over the past few hours since our last webinar, and one is on the U.S.-China trade deal saga. Basically, Donald Trump said that high-level talks are going very well, and there's no official announcement of some kind of deal, but the rumors of and the anticipation of at least a preliminary deal are getting higher and higher. And you know what they say, where there's smoke, there's fire. We've heard this for months and months and months, that look, things are going well, but now things are really picking up. And
well, he gave everyone Tic Tacs still.
Yeah.
If you remember in the whatever Hollywood thing, he said he always keeps Tic Tacs around. So
yeah, but and we are at the place. I bet. But we are at the time where he can't afford to not have something positive now. There's so many things happening domestically, and the U.S. economy. We've said it again. Leading indicators are falling. Okay, GDP, unemployment, they're still okay, but it looks like it is turning. So he will need something positive, and this is the easiest thing for him to provide. So there's more and more talk about a deal in with the US and China, but obviously we still wait for the official announcements.
I think, Stelio, having to do with the US-China deal, because I only have a short comment about it, I think that the smart thing for Trump to do, because anything else I think is going to be, after a short-term reaction, negative, is not get a deal, get some kind of what they're going to call an intermediate deal, some kind of,
let them buy pork. Let them buy our pork.
Yeah, set of
and anyway, also to the audience, Julia is in the house. I did see her. Now she's gone, but she was here. Okay, I'm sorry.
So I think the best thing for Trump to do is get some kind of set of concessions, let's say some kind of intermediate agreement that will give him the ability to claim that things are en route for something good, something positive to come out, so he can postpone increasing tariffs and all that. Market is going to be very happy because we've seen that the market really wants to take a positive note out of everything. And he won't actually have to deliver a deal, because if he actually needs to deliver a deal, trust me, that deal is not going to be good, and the market, after an initial reaction, is going to sell off. So I think that the best that Trump can do to keep on, the rally, the risk-on mood going is that. So I'm not sure if they're going to manage to do that, but it seems like they're trying to take that path forward. What do you think, Stelio?
Yeah, they could do, and it's like I said before, it's a relatively easy option for him to do. And we know. I think we do know that the Chinese will be happy with this, some kind of a preliminary deal, or a partial deal, or whatever you want to call it. I think both sides will be happy. They're going to please their domestic audience, and then we'll get closer towards elections in the US, and who knows what's going to happen then. So I think it's a very plausible scenario. So, but I am tired of
Kaskari never fails to amaze me. I mean, I started reading a headline here. Fed's Kaskari says monetary policy is not the right tool to respond to trade war. And at that point, I was like, dude, there was something smart coming out of his mouth. And then I continue reading, but it's the only tool that we have. Now, who told him that monetary policy is supposed to, or is a tool for trade wars? I have no idea. I would love for him to show me where in the Fed's mandate he's found something like that, but whatever.
Yeah, when you have a hammer, everything looks like a nail.
Like a nail,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So so let's wait and see what happens in that. And obviously the other big event we had yesterday was somewhere else ago. UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson and Leo Varadkar, however you say the name of it, from Ireland, basically, they said they're finding, and I quote, a pathway to a possible deal. And this has been met with some positive comments from Europe. Donald Tusk said it's promising, and it's being poured over right now, as from what I understand. And Barnier was also positive. So we've seen the pound.
I've also seen the big banks come out and, in essence, verify, and we know that they have access, to more details than we do as citizens and as the audience. It seems they seem to be also emanating, some positive signals having to do with the possibility of indeed achieving something in time. So, as it seems, there is some potential here, right? And there's no question about it.
The market, we've seen.
Yeah, huge short squeeze, right? Huge.
Yeah, and the question is, though, what happens if or when it gets confirmed? And the details matter, obviously, but the main event for me
I think that those that believe that this 2-day rally, Stelio, is the short squeeze and it has already happened, are going to, and they're trying to fade it, are going to find themselves in a lot of pain if indeed we get a deal. I can tell you that
I agree.
much.
You can fade it, but your plan, if you're fading it, is that this is all
No
going to
deal.
blow over and it's
Yeah.
going to be no deal. Yes.
Yeah.
That I understand.
That's the only plan.
But I wrote it in the chat room earlier today. I said, look, guys, I think if there is a deal, any kind of deal, we avoid no deal Brexit, I think we'll get to 140 in cable relatively soon. It's not going to be in 1 or 2 days or a week, but it's going to get there. And I think also in combination with the fact that I think the dollar is going to start weakening as well. But I don't think this is it. I mean, a 2% one day and 1.5% another. Obviously, you have to get the event. If you don't get the event, this is all going to probably go back. But if you do get the event, I think we're just starting. So just something a word of caution for people who are looking to fade. I think you fade it only if you think a no deal is going to happen and all this is going to just get denied.
Yeah, otherwise we end up breaking above this confluence of resistances here and this massive descending wedge. And I know it's going to sound, excessive, but I believe that we can find ourselves from 126 to 134 in a blink of an eye.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm not saying don't fade it. I'm just saying if you fade it, you know what your plan is. The plan is no deal. Otherwise, I think it's
otherwise goodbye. Yeah.
Yeah, I think personally, I've been wrong in the past, but I think that's how it's going to be. So
you're more times right than wrong, and that's the best anybody can hope for themselves.
It's kind of like the Howie Mandel era.
Yeah. So
let's make a deal.
Who's
Howie Mandel?
Yeah.
You know that show?
Yeah, some time ago, right?
Oh, there we go. We have an unexpected guest in the show.
Oh,
who is that?
His pussy.
Oh. Nice.
Harry, this is not the time, baby.
Yeah.
Okay.
She wants something, your cat. That's why she came to
That's my male cat. I also have
a okay. Well, he wants something. That's when they come.
He does. He wants to be he wants to be hugged and
dogs. Just affection.
Oh,
not food or
no. He's like he's the closest thing you've seen to a dog. I rescued him when he was 7 days old, and he thinks I'm his mommy because I actually had to bottle feed him for 3 weeks.
His bearded mummy.
He's gonna need some therapy, man.
So
he thinks I'm his mummy.
Actually, we have Canadian data in 7 minutes, so that's gonna be worth watching. Employment data. I remember last month it was a huge print, and that's going to be interesting to see. But apart from those two things, I don't have that much. There was something else I wanted to say. I forgot. Oh yeah, there was oil is rallying because I don't know if you mentioned it. There was an Iranian tanker which was hit by missiles apparently near in Saudi Arabia. So we're inside in a port of Saudi Arabia. So that's causing oil to spike. You get.
This time Iranian
didn't we have a spike also because there were some rumors that an Iranian tanker got attacked by missiles or something crazy like that?
That's what you just said.
You mean exactly what I said about 30 seconds ago?
Oh, sorry. I was looking at the market. Sorry, and I missed that. I only heard the end something about Saudi Arabia. Yeah, sorry.
Sounds like retaliation to me.
Yeah, the situation is not de-escalating. Let's put it that way. So, I mean, oil. We talked about oil the other day. We talked about the two forces. Low prices, production stops because of shale producers being unprofitable and non-profitable, and they have high leverage. And then prices go up, and the producers hedge their future flows. But you have in the middle these spikes because of the spikes are obviously always to the high side because you can have some kind of black swan event like this, which will drive it short-term higher.
How about this for a technical setup? If this happens and S&P's below the new highs, and then they complete something, you get a bear market rally for a secondary top in crude. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, could happen.
Crude, since you mentioned it, Coach, crude for the time being is
heading to 56, 57.
Finding resistance. You remember the zone we were talking the other day? There it is. You see where it has found resistance there.
Steve, I used to remember everyone's trades, but something happened last weekend, and I just can't remember anything anymore.
There it is. So we're
Sorry,
finding
man.
resistance.
I don't remember. Yeah, in fact, I want to see the transcript to verify. That's what we do in America. Can you give me a rough transcript of that show?
Yeah, I'll have my secretary send it to you.
Okay, buddy.
There's my secretary.
I'm in a wild mood today, aren't I?
Oh yeah, you are.
Huh?
We like
Thanks
that.
for putting up with me, guys. You know, I know I'm
Man, we love you, man.
okay
You know
character. You know,
We have a comment from Thomas says, for years, President Trump has said that China is a currency manipulator and there is a talk about some form of currency deal plus Accord 2.0. Yeah, not exactly that, first of all. Second of all, I can give you, but it's not the time, unfortunately, to do it today because it's one of the several economic misconceptions that I would want to speak about, and I think it's going to be useful, but not today because we've had a lot of movements in the markets, and I want to jump directly in the charts, but I can tell you, we have, as you said, we do have employment data, and let's switch to the USD CAD, by the way. But I can tell you one thing for sure. The fact that China's currency is undervalued, which it is, I can give you any type of argument that you want, explaining to you why it is in the benefit of the US and not at the cost of the US. Right. I mean, how would the US consumer substitute more expensive Chinese products? By doing what? By producing them locally. That ship has sailed already. And you know,
they will have to import from a more expensive country.
Exactly. So if we assume, first of all, I don't understand the China of tactic. Chinese soft manipulation on its currency is actually hurting Chinese people, because what they're doing is they're importing foreign inflation, because when you're actually buying treasuries in exchange of actual products, what you're doing in essence indirectly is importing US inflation, A. B, you're adapting partially the monetary policy of the US. And most importantly, what you're doing is you're making your products expensive for people that are actually working there. You're also importing pollution. I mean, it's easy for us in the Western world to say, oh my God, look at China, look at India. I mean, they have all that pollution, and then they're asking us why we're not doing much as Western world. And it's a valid argument. The question that many aren't asking is the following. How are they producing pollution? Mostly because they're producing the items that we are consuming and we want to buy at low prices, right? So we're importing those items. They have to work for them. They have to buy the materials. They have to use the materials. They have to use their workforce. They have to emit pollution to go through their factories, and then we import them at a discounted price. So having to do with how the US economy is currently functioning, for example, and it's not only the US economy, why is a cheap yuan a bad thing for the US? Why? The US and China are not, in essence, competing for the same markets having to do with exports. Still, I don't know if I'm not seeing something. Please go ahead and correct me.
No, I agree. No, it's a cheap yuan is helping products become more affordable, right, in the US. So you know, I agree. I don't have any comments really.
Steve, okay. You could turn your webcam off. Someone says it makes the screen drastically smaller when we're using the webcam.
Although I guess they could fix it on the side, but yeah, done. Okay, so we have the USD CAD. USD CAD yesterday got rejected once again from the confluence of resistances at 133.50. And there we are 30 seconds away from employment data out of Canada. So let's see what we get. We have expectation that 10,000 jobs were created and that the unemployment rate is going to stay at 5.7%. So let's see what we get. And then we're going to go on.
Let's keep an eye on revisions as well. But yeah.
3 seconds. Okay, let's see in a second now.
Oh, it's strong.
Oh, it's 5
53.7.
times what's expected, and unemployment rate down 0.2%. With a
Participation rate dropped as well. Yeah,
small
smaller.
drop in participation rate. And
Yeah, that's
if, of course, as to be expected, we already see an immediate move lower in USD CAD because the Canadian dollar is strengthening due to this data, currently pushing the lows of the days. Pay attention to this purple ascending triangle trend line support, and keep in mind that if we actually manage to breach through that, then we are facing a test of the long-term ascending channel, which currently passes from 131.35. A break below that, you don't need to be a technical guru to understand the implications, the technical implications that a break below a channel like the one you see here, which dates back to the summer of 2017, so it's more than 2 years that the market is respecting this ascending channel. So you don't need to be like a guru to understand that if we violate the trend line support of this channel, it is extremely likely that another leg lower has begun, and we might see much lower prices in USD CAD. For the time being, though, despite the initial reaction lower, we're holding both the triangles support, and of course we're nowhere near the channel support. So this is something that most probably we won't have to face today. Today we might end up breaking through the triangle, but I doubt it that there's going to be any momentum to break through the channel as well. So at best case scenario, we might have to worry about that next week. Now, since we already covered USD CAD and the initial reaction, we are seeing, by the way, the dollar regaining some of its strength following the extreme moves that we saw earlier, especially, for example, in the pound. But I would say you would have to be very, very careful. I would really advise against try to fade this move because, of course, the cable, for example, began the day yesterday at 122, and it found itself like a few minutes ago trading almost at 127. So yes, of course, it can't keep moving in a straight line. By the way, as I said before, notice how perfectly it got rejected from that descending wedge trend line resistance. That wedge, we didn't draw this wedge today or yesterday or the day before yesterday. It's been on this chart for, I don't know, weeks, months perhaps, I don't even remember. So 200 daily moving average, by the way, just a few pips above that and converging. So that's another thing to keep in mind on. I think that unless we get something dramatically different, probably pullbacks in these pairs are to be bought, and any rebound in the dollar until proven otherwise. And let me go back to the dollar index, which we were about to start talking about it before we got all that. We've now broken below this ascending trend line support. And in my opinion, this opens the door for a move to 97.70 next. This hasn't violated the fact that the DXY remains in an uptrend for now, but it is a first move which might show that even if this is a corrective move, it has more to run. So 97.70 is the next area of support, and I do think that any rebound towards 98.70, if we get there, is probably a nice sorting opportunity, as I said, in the short term, because in order for me to have higher conviction, I need to see more things happen. Anyhow, Euro USD also is flirting very strongly with finally closing today above 110.20. It seems very likely that that's going to happen. And that's also going to open up the next objective for Euro USD, which is at 111.10. The S&P, no wonder they're getting positive news having to do with the progression of US-China trade talks, and Brexit is moving higher. And keep in mind, I posted that overnight 2 days ago when we were testing again this wedge support, and at the same time, the Nasdaq was testing the same type of wedge. I tweeted about it. Actually, I tweeted that be very careful because this is a key area, and I don't want to, know what's going to happen if we close below it. The reason I tweeted it at that point is because it was obvious that the markets were testing an area that would define what happens from there. I mean, we either rebound higher or we break down. Okay, I would have preferred the breakdown, obviously. I still had half of my short position. But, it is what it is. I mean, when you're testing a major support area, it is always a possible outcome to see a rebound from there. And that's what has happened. And there is even the likelihood, if we keep on getting positive comments from both sides, I mean, US-China talks and Brexit, that we might even breach through the ascending wedge and, go for new highs. Okay. In which case,
Steve, just want to let you know the wizard, I believe, is here.
Oh, Gregor, are you with us?
There's something on Skype. It says he is.
Yeah, as you understand, it's impossible for me to read Skype while.
Oh, I didn't understand. Now I do.
Let me find him and.
Let me think about that.
Let me find him and promote him.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
There really aren't enough promotions going on it.
Are you sure? I don't see Gregor in the list of attendees.
Well, this is what he says on Skype. He says, Steve, Greg, are you there, mate? Me, yes, coming at 5:35 a minute ago. Oh, he's coming.
Ah, he's coming. Okay, because I don't see him. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So if he writes again and he says that he is on, please let me know. Okay.
Okay.
So I can pass it to him. USD CAD, by the way, as we speak, testing that triangle support at the same time. That's the previous low. So 132.10, an important support area. Below that, 131.30, as I said. So if we do break below 132.10, I think we have another 80 pips to the downside. Now, Aussie Kiwi, both of them are showing a nice rebound, but keep an eye on this because we still don't have a major significant. This mouse, worst product ever made by Apple. I'm paying close attention to 168.10, quite an important resistance for the Aussie. And, for me, 64.25 remains a key area for the Kiwi. Having said that, earlier today, the Kiwi did trigger the inverted head and shoulders formation I was showing 2 days ago on the 4-hour chart. And if you remember, I said that, listen, there are several setups at the moment that seem to be about to trigger being short the dollar. And one of them is the Kiwi, and you can see it here. Okay. Let me see if Gregor is on. Now I see him. Okay. Promote to panelist. There he is. And unmute him. Gregor.
Hey, man.
Hey, welcome to the company. What's up?
Welcome. How are you?
Good. How have you been?
We have some volatility back.
Finally. I mean, finally, really. Finally, some healthy moves going on, right?
Yes.
So, since I'm going to be here also on Monday, Tuesday, and everything else, why don't you take the screen? And I want us to start from the big picture. The big picture is the following. Do you think that the DXY is finally breaking down from here?
Yes.
Okay.
I just earlier I also posted on Twitter that we are here at the decision point.
Yeah, I know. We've been showing this small descending wedge for quite some time. We're also monitoring the larger descending wedge, that one that begins in the red wave. Yep, that one.
Yes.
That one. Yes.
Actually, what I think it's important today to see a close.
I agree with you.
I mean, if I'm just more euro-dollar, if I would want to be euro-dollar bearish, okay, I would have no issues to label this in 3 waves. And you can see that currently we just spiked. If I just label this real quick, we just spiked to this 100% equality level where wave C equals to wave A. So for bearish view, okay, what?
Yeah, if you want to be short, this is the place to do it. If you want to be short.
Yes, or just be a little bit more patient and wait on market reaction from here. If we're starting reversing today's gains, okay, then finish the week, let's say below 1.1 level, then I really think that this wedge could actually still be in the cards, because this current rise would be like a failure break above, a failure attempt of a break higher. So it's still do or die zone, but I think that if we'll stay here, then in the upcoming week, really would not.
We're going to have more upside.
To see more upside, and possibly even into wave 3, that would belong to first leg of this ABC rally for a wave B. So it's still, I mean, I want to see the reaction for the US session, obviously, but so far it looks very promising, actually. If we look on dollar index, we came down, where I have this chart, here it is. We came down here from the upper side of the wedge.
Yeah, I have the same channel as you, but you know what else I have, and that's what got me short. The dollar early today. This, if you draw an ascending trend line from where wave 4 finished.
Yes.
Yeah. If you draw, yeah, exactly. That.
Yeah. So again,
that break.
We have to see, yes, this weekly close. But what I really like the most is that this current reversal came from a new high after.
Yeah, it was a beautiful overthrow
that occurred previously. So
yeah, beautiful overthrow.
Trend is normally limited when you see a move out of a triangle. It's a final piece of the puzzle within larger degree of trend. So this reversal so far is looking very nice. But as I said, we want to see a little bit more price data, and weekly close will be very important because we just touched this equality level. Okay, so just going short here, in my opinion, would be a little bit too soon for me. Okay, but if we get a bounce, then I'll just know what to look.
Yeah, having to do with the DXY, what I suggested before is that I think that a rebound towards 98.70 is going to be a gift, in my opinion, from a risk-reward perspective.
Yes, absolutely. So if we want to go further, I mean, cable, it's really.
Yeah.
I mean, but it was a perfect technical picture. I highlighted this wave B, talked about this wave B in a week ahead video 2 weeks back, and also now this Sunday, and highlighted this one very closely. Actually, we came down to 61.8%. So from Elliott wave perspective, this current bounce was actually been expected, because previously we have seen a very nice 5 waves of recovery and very deep pullback. So it was just from Elliott wave standpoint, it was a very nice, beautiful reaction. Actually, we also have seen cable reversing higher from this. This is 50 period moving average, and looks like that we are now approaching 200 moving average. So maybe some short-term resistance could be seen up there, because that's the same level, like we have that we can see also the parallel trend line resistance of this channel as well. So maybe we should be really careful here, but the key is that market should make a pullback once we have a completed 5-wave cycle on a lower degree. Okay, so if we just zoom this in, okay, and just try to label this wave 1, wave 2, I would say this as an extended wave 3, wave 4, and expecting a little bit more upside for a wave 5. Okay, but after these 5 waves, watch out for a new correction.
Deeper pullback, yeah.
Yes. Now, if we look at the euro pound, this one is also very interesting. We have seen a major breakdown after nice retest of this 0.9 psychological level.
Textbook corrective move. Textbook.
Yes. And looks like that there is even more weakness coming here, because I see prices in a wave C. Okay, and you know, if we are here in a zigzag, down from 2016 highs, then we are going to retest this.
Where would you target for this move? I mean, where would you target for it to take us? Equality?
Yes, of course, always
Equality.
equality. And also, as I see right now, this equality comes right in this consolidation that occurred on the way up back in March of 2000.
So below 80 cents, from what I see, we have equality there, right?
Yes. So,
yeah, so
still
more
to
to go.
For cable, I mean, will cable stay strong, or is it the euro that will just
Listen, in the current juncture that we find ourselves, that theoretically speaking, there is no big upcoming events in Eurozone, but on the other hand, we have quite the opposite from the UK. We have, whatever is going to happen with Brexit might happen within the next few days. It seems very, very likely that it's going to be a pound-driven event, right?
Yes, it's definitely volatility brings the pound, not the euro.
Yes.
Yes. Actually, we have, I'm not sure if I covered this chart in last week in webinar here, but I think that I talked about it, or at least in a week ahead video. We said that there was always a pullback on euro pound from 120 pips up to 240 pips in each pullback since what? Since mid of 2018. So actually that was my projection where this pullback should end. And actually it was a perfect, nice move up to it was correct.
And previous support. I mean, that was a very nice area.
Yes, very nice technical area, yes. Perfect. So I'm thinking that euro pound is really, maybe it's even going down here for a wave 3, who knows? I would not be surprised actually.
If we do get a Brexit deal, it's going to be a wave 3, trust me about that.
Yes, of course. I mean, and it looks the price action is pointing in this direction.
Tell me something, Greg. You believe that it's quite possible that we had already found corrective lows in gold and silver, and as it seems, the correction is likely more complex than initially expected. So the major question is, double zigzag, what kind of a correction do you see unfolding after this failure?
On gold.
Yeah, gold and silver.
Yes, I mean, there's still a chance that wave 4 has ended here. Okay, it was part of it was a wave drop for a wave 4, and this wave 4 belongs to a higher degree 5-wave rally. I mean, I've been looking for potential significant top here, but since market bounced on the lower side of this parallel channel, I definitely must respect what the market is doing. Level it as a correction, because
I think we agree that this move so far has only corrective characteristics. So I'm 100% with you. I expect new highs at some point.
Yes, but so far, I mean, looking just from clear gold Elliott wave perspective, it looks very beautiful setup. Maybe we are even now in a wave 2 here, sub wave 2, and we will see a push higher.
If not, double zigzag.
Yes, but no, what I'm trying to say here, just give me a second here, is that my main concern are these 10-year US note futures. Okay, you can see that we have seen a very strong reaction to the downside. Looks like after the market completed these 3 waves of recovery for wave B that I have been waiting for a very long time. We haven't seen a push to new all-time to new highs here, and actually reversing now impulsively lower, testing this lower trend line support. So I'm thinking that more weakness could be seen here. And if that's the case, then you know that gold will have issues, right? So
no, I totally agree with you. Bund and treasuries seem to have started another leg lower.
So I would be careful, very careful with gold longs. Okay, if we suddenly maybe recover in the early next week and we're starting to move above this trend line resistance, then I would maybe look for long still on gold. But the question would be what 10-year would be doing at the same time. Okay, so now when the 10-year is looking like that, I would maybe just track gold with one eye and pay more attention to dollar yen.
Dollar yen, by the way, it looks like that it's about to break from the recent highs, which means that, you know, at least one more leg higher, right?
Yes, I mean, I'm looking when I'm projecting wave C, like here. Okay, this was wave A, three-wave drop for a wave B, and looking for a wave C. The minimum expectation for wave C would be
61.8%
of wave A measured from wave below. Okay, and then you have another very important target, which is 161.8% extension of wave B. So that's the zone that I would be looking for, 109 up to 109.70. So it looks like that there is more upside, and especially.
And where is the 100% extension of wave A from the end of wave B? Where does that take us?
110.50.
Okay.
Okay. So
in either of those zones, yeah.
From a trading perspective, gold is not matching with the 10-year US notes. So I would leave gold at the side for now. Okay. But the 10-year US notes and the dollar-yen wave counts are matching perfectly. So from a trading perspective, I would pay more attention to dollar-yen right now rather than gold. So looking at the dollar-yen, my potential trade for next week would be looking for wave 4 pullback once we break this trendline resistance, and then wave 4 pullback obviously would look maybe to find a support at the same trend line, and then trying to catch more upside for a wave 5. So that would be my intermarket analysis for potential next trade, looking at those all three major markets.
What do you think about USD CAD, since we just got data out of it? And it seems to be...
just ask Greg before he leaves again, after we complete this, are you looking for a continuation move to the downside?
Actually, what I think we may see, it's another limited upside at this upper trend line resistance that is here for since 2015. So that would be my target, and then let's see what happens there.
Well, you're looking for a B. It looks like at 102.
I'm looking
after that
for wave D, then pullback for wave E, and then maybe we may start to look and expecting break out of this triangle range.
Okay, thank you, buddy.
What about
dollar CAD? You said dollar CAD.
Yeah, dollar CAD, and after that, what do you think about indices? For example, the S&P, let's say.
Okay, I will take a look. I mean, on dollar CAD, I've been watching two wave counts. I'm not sure if I already no. The first wave count was here. I was expecting potential break to the upside because the market was chopping around here. Okay, and we were still sitting on this trend line, so there was a chance that market will continue higher. But I was realizing that actually a reversal came from the upper side of the channel. Okay, we haven't break it yet, so that's why I prepared also this wave count, and looks like that after recent data, this now comes in play. So for dollar CAD, I would be watching for potential more weakness, maybe even a retest or take out these September lows to make 5 waves of decline. So it may happen something similar like we have seen.
Yeah, but what's the long-term picture? I'm asking, Grega, because I was showing it before you weren't here. We have a very long-term ascending channel that dates back to July 2017 that the market has been trading within since, and its support actually passes roughly from that low that you're talking about, from 131.50. So we might be talking about a much bigger formation that would be in play if USD CAD actually breached through 131.50.
I mean, the very important key level for me is 1.3 level. It's a very nice, strong psychological level, round figure, and also that can add this trend line connected up from 2012 lows. So I'm thinking that looking the whole context here, okay, looking this as a free wave drop to this trend line that I talked about, and the bounce was quite strong here. So I'm thinking that this wave 2 would be something similar, could form something similar like this wave 2 of a higher degree. Okay, so below, I would say that 1.31, it's a very important zone here. Okay, but I would look for something else if we would drop below 1.3 level. Then I would have to reconsider the wave structure and also consider what may happen with crude oil.
Mm-hmm.
But crude oil and dollar CAD are not
speaking about it, before we go then to the S&P, why don't you show us what you think about crude? Because, you know, I know that a lot of people are monitoring it, and since we were talking about the Canadian.
Okay, so crude oil, I think that once again, it failed to break below 50 level. 50, $51 per barrel, that's a very important level. So as long as that's the case, I think that the triangle is a very good option. A, B, C, D, expecting wave E rise, okay? Also, even if you would, let me just hide, okay? Even if you count this as an impulse, okay? Let me label this as an impulse and then as a free wave rally for wave 2, and then expecting more weakness, you would still expect a corrective recovery
initially,
away from this trend line support. Okay, so I'm thinking that more upside will be seen. So either it will be a small correction or a higher degree or a higher pullback for a wave E. But I'm thinking that while dollar CAD has room for more upside, that crude oil could maybe even retrace up to $55, $56 per barrel. But there, I would be very, very careful because the triangle could come to an end because we are stepping into this.
But from what I understand, in both your accounts, you think that this unfolding rebound is to eventually be sold for lower prices. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, very interesting. Now, let's go to the main dish, S&P stocks. What happens from here?
As you know, I have changed my bias and turned bullish on stocks a week or 2 weeks back. And the reason was very simple. I mean, I was expecting and looking for a reversal lower away from that blue trend line. We have seen a drop, okay, but nothing significant. A drop came only in 3 waves. So as soon as I saw this bounce and especially this overlap with this wave A, I knew that I cannot count this impulsively anymore. So it was obvious for me that it was a correction. So this bounce was actually a very nice, clear 5 waves up from that October 3rd low. Okay, and then we have seen a deep pullback in 3 waves. So I'm thinking about more upside now. It's still 5-wave move underway from here. Okay, so just expecting more upside after minor retracement. Maybe the support will be found at these previous highs, 29.60, but I really would not be surprised if we're just starting to move slowly back towards the all-time highs. It's really, I mean, I just have to respect what is going on a higher degree.
No, I agree. And from what I see, you have like a large ascending wedge being the formation in which we currently are, right?
Yes, exactly. I mean, it's always when we touched a new high for the last year, 2 years, we have seen a reversal lower. So maybe we should respect this kind of personality on the stocks, and I would not expect anything significant here from the bullish side, but just probably temporarily limited.
Doesn't it look a little bit like the price action we've had during the past more than a year, whatever it is, in the DXY, but with a little bit of lag?
Yes, it could be, yes.
Doesn't it look a little bit like a fractal of the DXY with some lag?
Yes, I know what you mean, yes. And that we will see.
Good point.
It could be, yes.
That Volgi, Nostra Volgi.
What is really interesting here, that even if we are here maybe forming a triangle, okay, as I said earlier, each leg out of a triangle will be final sequence within a larger degree of trend. So even here, when we reach a new high, later I would expect a reversal. Okay, so considering both scenarios, I really should not be surprised if
Yeah, that was what I was saying earlier in when I covered the S&P, that if we get all those positive news getting verified, I wouldn't be surprised if we produce an overthrow from the wedge I've drawn, which its resistance currently passes from 3,050. So speaking or assuming an overthrow, it would mean above that.
3,200.
3,100, 3,150, who knows? Yeah, absolutely.
Julia's here.
Also, maybe if someone is trading single stocks, maybe now it's time to look at this. I mean, there is a Tesla probably.
Oh, okay, yeah, let's see it. And then Julia's here.
I mean, Tesla made a very nice rebound here, and now it looks like forming a correction, maybe a triangle on the way up. So if the S&P and stocks in general are going to reach new all-time highs, then a
Bear market rally in Tesla.
Yes, and looking at Microsoft, also a triangle formation here. Also,
yeah,
I mean, it's a clear sideways move at the highs. Normally,
it's been the strength all the way through every correction. Microsoft has given back the least and has always been the first to make new highs.
You are very right.
It's a leader.
If you remember, the last time we dumped lower in the S&P, I mean, that big corrective move we had in the end of 2018, I was actually looking at Microsoft on occasion, and they were saying that, something, the move in Microsoft looks corrective in nature. So despite the S&P back then showing some signs that perhaps the move lower was impulsive, Microsoft was hanging in there in a clearly corrective pattern.
Yeah. So we know when we have 5, now that we've seen Grega's look on Microsoft being a market leader, when that has 5, the broader market should be a pretty good short.
And actually, that's
for something.
S&P.
Yeah. Thank you, Grega.
Thank you very much, Grega. It was, as always, nice having you and getting
Have a great weekend.
Enjoy the weekend, mate.
You too, both.
So, Coach, do we? You have the guest you had yesterday.
Yeah, we're going to try it, see if the connection's better.
Okay, let's give it a shot and see.
Okay, it's a full moon, so anything can happen, Julia.
Do you think that the full moon is going to affect your internet connection?
Yeah, I think it's going to affect everything.
Okay, let's see.
Everything, Steve, not just our little micro world. Okay, Julia, I'm looking forward to hearing your voice loud and clear.
Hello.
Look at that. See, full moon.
Yay.
All right. Well, very nice to meet you, Julia. To share your screen, you just go to that green share box.
Okay. This is very intimate.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. So I'm glad you see. I know you're a trader because you're persistent and you came back. Okay, yeah. We always have to come back. So, how many times have you been knocked down to the canvas and had to get up again?
I think I've been knocked down to the floor and then scratched the bottom of the canvas.
Okay, well, that's what it takes is perseverance. So before we get into your technical work, I'm always interested in how people end up becoming traders or analysts or run a service or mentor. How did it happen for you? What were you doing right before you broke into trading, or someone that you can blame introduced you to it?
I was actually an executive at a software company, and I had to travel a lot, and I just was looking for a way to make money without, basically make money from home without traveling. And so,
Right.
Yeah, that's it.
So that was it. So you saw some online ad about make money at home, learn how to trade Forex, something like that, or what? What?
No. I just, I had a retirement account, and I was actively managing that, but really I was just doing things I liked. So like I liked Netflix, so I bought it. I liked Apple, so I bought a lot of that. I just bought things that I liked, and they were like doing really well. So I thought I could do
books or anything like that, or someone that you met on Twitter that mentored you at your beginning?
I didn't join Twitter till pretty late, but I was on StockTwits for a while, and
Okay.
that didn't go very well for me because I find that I'm very easily influenced by people. So yeah, it was just like a cheerleading festival, and I couldn't understand why things were happening. And my personality, I really have to understand why things are important and why things are happening, and I can't just be bullish or bearish. I have to understand.
Okay.
But I started charting things really just because every time I would buy something, it would go down, and I was trying to understand how I was so consistent. So that was basically it.
Okay. So, okay, let's get to what your setups are and some of the things you're looking at. And interesting, martini glasses, ambulances, rocket ships, you know, very creative, and, you know, makes me smile to look at those kind of things on a chart. So you're an entertainer as well as a trader.
Thank you. Yeah, I had to put those there because it psychologically, it's I mean, I see lines and I understand their support lines, but if they don't have like something on them that I can identify with at the time, I still get too scared to buy them or sell them. So that's why I put the symbols there, just to remind myself that it was something that I planned.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Do you journal?
Yes, I do.
Still?
Yeah.
Okay.
More than ever. Because because
why?
it's like to make money live.
Okay. So you when you journal, it's something for you to look back on and to repeat what worked, and you know, avoid maybe some of the psychological pitfalls of, you know. Let me ask you this. I used to do this. Say, for example, I had a buy point in gold, say around your 1479 level. You know, what I would do is I will go, well, if I really believe it's going to 1479 and it's trading 1515, I should short it. But that's not the trade. The trade is to buy it there. I still do it. I did it yesterday. It worked. But really, the trade is where your entry is. So, and for me, the most difficult thing in trading is holding.
Waiting.
No, I can wait.
Oh, you can?
I could be patient. I don't care. I could be out of the market for a whole week.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and really not Jones too bad. But holding a trade until targets is something that I'm working on. Also, I'm usually early, and I've learned to overcome that by piecing in.
Yes.
Rather than being all in, all out. So why don't you tell us about some of the money management techniques you use to trade?
Yeah, I was actually I am in the process of making a YouTube video for that, but I want to talk about how I do trade planning. I do the same thing you do. I piece in now because it's just easier for me. Plus I get FOMO. So if I'm 1/3 in and then and then it still keeps going down when I thought it was going to go up, I'm okay with that because I know where I'm going to add the other 2/3.
Okay.
And yeah, I also have the same issue. I mean, everybody does, right? It's impossible to buy the bottom tick and sell the top tick, but I also have the same issue in terms of like staying in a trade because I want to take profits. I want to immediately feel like I got something out of it. But I do the same thing. I scale out. And I do this thing where I sell 1/3 at, and it depends on how risky something is. So I have, and where I'm buying it, but I'll sell 1/3 at 3, 5, or 10% up. And then I'll sell the other third at whatever I think was the closest resistance to it. And then I'll keep the last third just going. And then hopefully if it back tests that past resistance, I'll buy in again. But that's the only way I found to stay in a winning trade, because it's too easy for me to, it's like you want to.
Yeah, first day. I call it first daylight syndrome.
Yeah.
Because we know what it's like to be stopped out, and when you have money made, you don't want to give it back. So really, the only way to overcome it, unless you're super disciplined, is
I am
to
not.
take something off the table.
Yeah.
It's not a profit till you take it.
Right. So I do it in both directions for sure. Yeah.
Okay. So tell us what you're seeing here in gold. We had I believe CPI yesterday had a classic stop hunt over that 1510 level on the news and failed. So are you looking to get long above that?
I am.
Okay.
I am. And I probably should have shorted it like you. It sounds like you did yesterday. That was smart.
Yeah.
But I didn't, because as you said, I was just waiting for the trade that I'm waiting for.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm looking to get long. If you see the martini line here, it's the previous resistance for this wedgie type thing that happened. And it did retest here, but everybody called out this head and shoulders. I think might have been early. You can tell when I drew, I think I drew when it was right here. But it will reverse a whammy. But anyway.
Do you correlate gold with any other instrument?
Other than sentiment, I do not. No.
Okay.
No. Because I don't understand the correlations, to be quite honest. Like people have tried to explain it to me many times, the yen connection and the dollar connection. And every time somebody explains it to me, it seems like it does the opposite of what they told me it would do. So
they disconnect at times.
Yeah. And it seems like I'm only interested right before they get disconnected. I don't know why. Maybe I should take that as a sign.
Okay. All right. So you're looking at 1479 as a potential buy point here. What happened to you?
Kind of before. So this is a nice intersection of the three of those. So I think we should probably get at least a little bit of bounce there, and it could be substantial, but at least something. And then maybe if it gets stopped up here, it could go down to the ambulance line. It's certainly a possibility, but
yeah, that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Just a mild, maybe just a mild heart attack like Bernie had, where you could just put in a few stents and maybe it recovers from then. I noticed you're on a 4-hour time frame. Is that the time frame that you focus on for trading, or do you go from longer term time frames and drill down for entries with shorter term time frames?
I do exactly that. So I haven't, I don't think, shared my gold weekly on Twitter. I might have a long time ago, but I try to keep some things to myself. Just, I don't know why, but
why?
I don't know.
Ask yourself.
I don't know.
Huh? Okay.
It's a mystery. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's weird because sometimes I'll do it and like, oh, no problem. And then other times I'm like, no, that's private. What if it has like something secret on it? There's nothing secret. I'm very simple, and people really like to criticize me because I'm a line hoarder. I don't like to get rid of my lines. I just
I noticed that.
Yeah, it's a little busy, and people don't like it, but I don't really care what other people think as long as I'm making money. And that's on. And I'll try to mark the important things. So, and I'll try to say it out loud. And I feel like if I mark it and I say it out loud, then I don't care about making people happy so much as making money.
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, that's very practical. When you talk about you don't care what people think, do you have like a chat room, or you work with people during market hours? Do you have a community? What do you mean by, is it just Twitter? You get comments?
Just Twitter. I used to be part of a chat room, but it seemed like like I said, I'm very impressionable. So if I see somebody I respect and like going a certain way, it's hard for me to continue to feel the way that I felt. And then I'm doomed if they're right, and I'm doomed if they're not right, right? Because if they're right, then I start to doubt myself. And if they're not right, then I still blame myself for believing them. Or what, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So
But,
I
yeah.
felt like I needed to know myself. And then it's nice if they agree with me. That's like awesome. But if they don't, then I really try hard not to be influenced.
Yeah,
And
yeah, I used to be like that. And but you know what? Down the road, I think you'll find some people that you could mastermind with that are on the same level as you, that actually, you know, I would write about it. You know, the only reason when I was early in my career, I wanted to know what someone was doing was so I could fade them. I
yeah,
was right and they were wrong, kind of ego-driven stuff. But you know what? There are people whose work I respect, but I have enough belief now. It only took, you know, decades in my own stuff that I just can assess what they're looking at and what I'm seeing and still make my own decisions. And I it's helped me. So I'm a big believer. That's why I brought you in here in intelligence gathering. But you know what? Know thyself.
mm,
And if that affects you, you're right. You should do it in a silo, a missile silo, and just, you know, you and the machine.
yeah. I got much more successful after, excuse me, I stopped watching CNBC. They don't like pay you, do they?
No,
No, yeah.
no,
No,
they don't.
because
Yeah,
I mean, people sound so knowledgeable on there, and they're like wrong a lot,
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, that's entertainment.
Yeah.
So, all right. So we're looking at gold here. What is it? Just your imagination? How do you come up with these lines? I call a lot of these lines because I draw them too, kind of like speed lines. And someone asked me to teach them, and I said, you just have to use your imagination and line up certain points and just keep drawing them and
Mhm.
then look to see if the market respects them and reacts off of them. Is that kind of what you do with these lines, or is there a method to your madness?
Um, I don't
Huh?
even remember why I drew the line.
You don't remember? Okay. Which one? Can you move your cursor there? And I'm losing you a little bit here. I don't hear you. You're breaking up.
Yeah, it said I was unstable. Am I? It seems like
You're stable now. You
okay.
you
I
must
don't.
have taken your lithium.
Yeah, something like that.
All right.
So I don't remember exactly why I drew this line way back when, but I can tell you what I do. It's not a secret. You can tell that not only am I line holder, but I reuse the same lines over and over again. Whenever I find a really good line, I find that I can move it anywhere on the chart
Yeah.
and it'll line up pretty well. So what I try to do is pick a few very good slopes and then just move my lines around. And the same thing for RSI. I try to pick a few very good slopes and then just move them around, and it works really well for me.
Okay. Well, you know what? RSI is one of my major tools. I renamed it to the Real Simple Implicator. How do you use it?
I use it just as well to validate support and resistance. So if I see price here, it looks like it got some divergence before it turned on this line. But let's see. So if I had, well, I'm trying to find an example.
Yeah, it looks like a confirm low to me.
Yeah, it is exactly.
Okay.
Whenever I have support that's on both, this is a bad example because it didn't happen before. But whenever I have a resistance or a support that lines up with also the RSI resistance and support, I'm 95%. I feel 95% confident about it. Yeah. So.
Okay, so a market reaches resistance. You're looking for RSI to do the same, and
yes.
Inversely for looking for long opportunities.
Exactly, and you can sort of see that when it got close to, I mean, it looks like this gold is at resistance now, even though it's not close to that line, RSI resistance.
RSI support?
Resistance here on this candle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. You have a little line there coming up there.
I don't know.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Do you have any levels? Like I have preferred levels for divergences of 70 for it to be under 70 for a divergence that may forecast a turn to the downside, and above 30 for RSI readings that may forecast reversal to the upside. Do you have any levels that mean something to you? I mean, when you get a 20 reading
Right.
or an 80 reading, does that give you, what kind of market message does that give you?
Well, I definitely look at where it is overall in the resistance, but you know, I'm not that sophisticated. I like what you're saying, so I'm going to take that and see if I can't do something with it. But
Okay.
I do have absolute levels.
We all learn from each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do have absolute levels of RSI that I look for that are just straight lines. And it does seem like a lot of times when it gets to one of those, I mean, yeah, absolutely. When it's in the lower third of RSI and I see divergence starting to form, my ears start perking up. And sometimes I look for 3 points of divergence as opposed to just a divergent bottom. It depends. Oil, for example, on the 4 hour loves the 3 points, and so does gold usually. But sometimes I just go off of 2. It depends on what the price action is doing also.
Okay, any other instruments that you're focused in on that you'd like to share with us besides gold?
We could look at oil if you want.
Okay, sure. So we, you know, we held major support.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like you have a rocket ship, 5674 is a possibility, or it'll be back in the ambulance under that major support level.
Yeah, I probably should move this ambulance up now because it's already done a lot of damage. But yeah, so what I'm looking for here is I'd like for it to stay above this. I don't have it labeled, but this diagonal line here. And if it does, then I'm looking for it to probably flag until it breaks the key. The key level is very key here. It really needs to get above that to have any kind of hope of, I mean, it's had 3 horrible weeks. So it needs to get above this key to have a real hope of any kind of lasting reversal. And then above that, I think if we can break this rocket line, it'll go
Okay,
all the way up to here.
Have you tried fibs to give you confluence with your support and resistance levels? Because I bet you have a fib up there around 5670 or 57. You know, basically, what did we do? Go from 63 round numbers to 52 or 52, $11. So, you know, 5.5 back, 6 back. There you go, right at your rocket ship.
Yeah, I don't do fibs because I get mixed up on time frames. But you know what's awesome is like the people that follow me are super smart, and generally they'll tell me when a fib is lining up with something, and that works pretty well. But I don't do it because I feel like I shouldn't add lines that I don't add myself. You know?
Okay, all right. Do you know what I say about trend lines?
What do you say?
I say trend lines, their destiny is to be broken.
Mm.
Haven't you seen every line you've drawn in your career eventually be broken?
That's true.
Okay.
So
Anyway,
I should draw a low line.
Just like correlations, though, you know, they work till they don't work, and that's a market message too, right? When they break through an important line of yours, that gives you a signal, right?
Well, I heard you say something really smart yesterday, and that is that you can't confirm a breakout until the candle close above a line.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
I used to anticipate it because I wanted to get the edge instead of being patient for the confirmation.
Exactly. And so I don't mind if my lines aren't perfect. Nothing is perfect. I just look for whether or not they can hold through closes and things like that.
Yeah, look at Cruz holding that blue line right now. Who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe by the close we turn, Julia.
this is real time,
Right.
awesome happening.
Yeah. All right. So let me ask you, what's your mission and your goal as a trader? Are you already there? I'm not talking about financially. I'm talking about, do you have a mission to, you know, just support yourself in the market and that's good enough for you? Or are you interested in perhaps teaching people to do what you do? What kind of goals do you have with your career here?
Oh, well, I've been profitable for a couple of years now, but
Congratulations.
thank you. It was, I mean, I had like a lot of years of not profitable, so I'm very proud of myself. But my goal really is to prevent, if I can, some people from making the same mistakes that I did, because I'm not only did I make a lot of mistakes, I made them very consistently. So if I could help people to, I mean, people are all going to trade differently. I don't think I could teach somebody to trade the way I trade. Because I don't, it's
okay.
I don't know what I'm doing. I feel like I don't know what I'm doing because when I listen to your guests, they seem like they know what they're doing. I mean, your panelists, I don't know. I feel like I don't know what I'm doing. But if I could
You do know what you're doing.
A
You
little
were
bit.
just profitable for 2 years. And it's great to be humble, but it's also, you know, good to validate yourself through, you know, because your P&L is
I
showing
know.
you something. You know what I mean?
No, I was surprised. I mean, I'm like happy. I'm happy surprised.
Yeah.
But I was like, why does he want to talk to me? Is it so that people can like know what not to do?
No,
I'm just teasing. I'm teasing a little bit.
Just to attract your followers to be aware of ForexAnalytix.
Oh, cool. Yeah, because it seems really good. Like I said, you said smart things.
You know, there's some marketing in it. I'll be frank, but the reason I bring people on is I do believe we could learn from everybody, and especially from their experiences and talking about the psychology and the journey they've taken. And whether you know it or not, you're edifying the community, and I'm seeing some things from your setups that can help me. So I appreciate you being here, and you know what? You have a great mission to help people not lose their limbs by stepping on landmines that you've already jumped on a few times.
Yeah, I feel like that would be the stick it to the market makers that took my money. If I can help other people not get their money taken, that would be good.
Do you believe there are stop hunts?
Yeah. I'm glad I'm not on camera. I just gave you a look like, what is that?
So do you look for them? I mean, people sometimes ask me, Dale, how do you know where the stops are? And I say, well, just imagine you're long, like your chart right now. Where would you put your stop? And they go at this swing low. I go, well, that's where everyone's is. So they used to do it through open outcry. Now it's just done electronically, but it still happens. Are you with me?
Yeah, I'm with you. Sorry, I cut out for a second.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I feel very strongly the same way. Wherever I would set my stop is really where I should be buying. That's why I put my little ambulances so I would know.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what's the most important thing you could pass on to people, say with one line or one statement, the one thing that is most important for you to continue to do what you're doing? Okay. There is a full moon, Julia.
Well, you know what?
I'll tell you what, it is the first time I've heard that advice. But you know what? I'm going to give it a shot.
Yeah, you know what? It's true. When you asked the harmonic guy yesterday how he could apply things to his life, I mean, like, yeah, these are all your mental problems are on your chart. So if you just focus on being fabulous and going through it, you're fine. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm with you. You know, I just try to be competent, but you know, I'm going to take it I'm going to step up to your level and try and be fabulous. In fact, you know what? Anything you try to be, you're not. So I'm just going to be.
You are
Yeah.
fabulous, Dale. We are fabulous. We are
I'm telling you what, man.
fabulous.
I'm going out tonight.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Julia, what a fun and interesting conversation it was. I'm glad I met you. And you know what?
What?
Like it or not, you're now my trading warrior sister. You like a fabulous hurricane does in Florida.
Glittery rain. Yes.
Yeah, purple rain.
Yeah.
I do that one. Purple rain. So may purple pips be fabulously
glittery,
falling into your account every 10 minutes. Huh?
Thank you. Same.
It was fun, Julia.
Thank you for having me, Dale. I really appreciate it.
Okay, and people that want to follow Julia's work, at Cordova Trades is her Twitter handle.
Yay.
And there you are.
Hi.
A very attractive trader.
So
thank you very much, Julia. Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
And have a great weekend.
You too.
And good hunting.
Thanks, Dale. Be fabulous.
Right. All right. Okay, everyone, that's a wrap. Remember, don't just be fabulous and don't just count your pips, count your blessings. And we'll see everyone Monday. What a great way to end the week, laughing. You know what? Stop being so serious, everyone. Stop being angry and just smile, because half the world doesn't care about your problems. And the other half, look at that, are happy you have them. You know what? I want to adopt that dog.
She's so cute.
Yeah. Hey, here, have my finger. It's a milk bone. All right, everyone. Have a great weekend. Thank you, Julia.
Thanks. Bye.
I'll see you. Bye-bye. Okay, so I need to end the meeting here. Maybe you could do it, Steve. I don't know what's happening here. Here, I'll do it. Okay. So everyone have a great weekend, okay? Adios. Thank you, Brock. See you, Monica, Hamed, Andre. Andre, you know what kind of harmonic pattern you are? You didn't want me to answer on Skype. I'm going to tell
you can answer me live today.
Okay, live. Okay, you know what you are? You're a butterfly pattern.
Why? Why a butterfly?
Because before you came to ForexAnalytix, you were still a caterpillar.
Oh, yes.
And since you've been with us for almost a year now,
that's the truth.
You've become a butterfly.
That's true. That's changed my life in a few perspectives.
Yeah. So anyway,
thank you very much.
You're not a caterpillar anymore, my handsome Portuguese buddy. All right?
Have a nice weekend, everyone.
You too, buddy. See ya. Adios.